Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Raidraptor deck profile. So I'm super excited about this one because of Wise Strix. Wise Strix really breaks this deck and makes this deck really insane. I've actually got some really crazy tech cards in this deck that really make this deck super good to be able to be like a tier 2 deck. With Master Rule 5 right around the corner, which is going to be a really fun time for Raidraptors. So you guys should definitely pick this deck up, definitely give it a try. It's super cool, and I'm really excited this card actually came out in Dual Overload, because this deck is going to go good in Blackwings, it's going to go good in here, and it's got a lot of decks that it's going to be really good in. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down in the description below so you guys can check out. There's really cool rewards for you guys, and let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Raidraptor Tribute Lanius, which is probably the card that's going to get a reprint next. I really hope that they reprint this card because it's only had 1 printing, but it would make the deck completely budget if they reprinted this card. But basically, during your main phase, it was normal or special summon. You can send 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then during your main phase 2, if this card destroyed an opponent's monster by battle, you can add a rank up magic quick play spell from your deck to your hand, which we don't play Doom Double anymore in this deck because I actually changed the deck up just a little bit. So basically, it's just a Foolish Burial on legs. Then we play, well, on wings. Then we play 3 copies of Vanishing Lanius. Vanishing Lanius lets us once per turn during our main phase. If this card is normal or special summon this turn, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster in your hand. It just pulls them out of the hand, which is really nice to be able to get more Raidraptors onto your side of the field. We play 3 copies of Fuzzy Lanius. Fuzzy Lanius is really good in the deck too, because basically what this card does is if you control a Raidraptor monster other than Raidraptor Fuzzy Lanius, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Raidraptor Fuzzy Lanius from your deck to your hand, and you can only use its effect once per turn. And you cannot special summon monster for the rest of the turn you activate this effect, except for Raidraptors, which is something that you have to keep in mind about this card, is that you can only summon Raidraptors. We do actually play a couple of cards in the extra deck. I believe we play 3 or 4 that are not Raidraptors. We actually play 4 that are not Raidraptors in the extra deck, so that's something to keep in mind. It's not a lot, but it's something that you really want to note. Then we play just 2 copies of Mimicry Lanius. Mimicry Lanius I bumped down to 2 because I don't want to see it in my opening hand, but I want to send it to graveyard with Tribute Lanius, so I play it as a 2 of, but I don't mind opening it sometimes and having that extra level 4 in my hand. So I bumped Mimicry down to 2. That was the big reason behind it. And it's really working out for me bumping Mimicry down to 2. And I really like that and encourage you guys who are playing Raidraptors to definitely try Mimicry at 2, because I do not miss the 3rd copy of it. Then I play a single copy of Singing Lanius. Singing Lanius is a combo piece in this deck that if you control a XYZ monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is really cool to be able to just instantly put it out on the field. And it's searchable as well with something like 4 Strix to be able to search it out and then summon Wise Strix and then go Wise Strix special summons from deck. Like, this card is just really good. Then we play 2 copies of Pain Lanius. Pain Lanius I actually bumped down as well for some other tech cards in this deck, but basically you get to target a Raidraptor monster you control, and then if it is on the field, you can lose life points equal to either its attack or defense, whichever one's lower. Like, for instance, let's just use Mimicry as a, for instance, since it has 1100 attack, you lose 1100 life points, and then special summon the Pain Lanius to your side of the field. Then it becomes level 4, but it also has the ability that it can't be used for the XYZ summon an XYZ monster except for Wing Beasts. So that's something to keep in mind about this card. Then we play my favorite Raidraptor, and that is 3 copies of Last Strix. So Last Strix is hands down the best Raidraptor in my opinion. Basically what this card does is if a Raidraptor monster you control battles while you have a spell or trap in your graveyard or on your field, during damage calculation during either player's turn, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you gain 100 life points for each spell and trap. Now, doesn't that make it a really good card? No, it doesn't. The really good effect is this. You get to tribute this card while it's on your side of the field to special summon a Raidraptor XYZ monster from your extra deck in events position, but its effects are negated, and then you return it to the extra deck during the end phase. So why do I play this card? Okay. You tribute it, special summon Satellite Cannon Falcon, and then immediately rank it up with something like Skip Force. that you have in your hand, which we play plenty of rank up spells, and then you immediately go into Ultimate Falcon on top of that card, and then you've got a card that's unaffected by everything off of one little owl, which is really, really cool, and I really love being able to go into that, because it's just such a cool combo to be able to just immediately rank up into an Ultimate Falcon and just kind of cheat out an Ultimate Falcon, which is really cool to be able to get it out from the deck, which is a super, super cool effect. And I can actually end on 2 Ultimate Falcons and a Y-Strix on my field, which I've done quite a few times. Then we play just a single copy of Mist Valley Apex Avion. The reason we play this card as a 1-of is because of the Smorg Link. This is our target to summon off the Smorg Link. Usually we don't have anything set, so we're automatically going to have a level 5 on the field. If our opponent doesn't play any back row, then we're just immediately going to put the Smorg Link on the field, special summon this, and it's a walking negate to be able to stop stuff that our opponent's activating, because when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can return this card to your hand, and then if you do negate the activation, you destroy it, which is pretty good. I really like that effect. It's really a good effect. I do think that this card is going to get hit on the ban list. If it does, we're just going to drop it out and play something else, and I'll comment down below and tell you what we're going to play. So then we're going to play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really good because you just basically discard it and negate a card effect that either sends something, adds a card from a deck to hand, special summons a card from the deck, or sends a card from deck to the graveyard, and really helps out with Raidraptors because you just don't want to have to deal with that sort of stuff in this deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of our Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is really good in here because basically you just want to not have to deal with your opponent's hand traps, and it just stops that. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial sends our Mimicry Lanius to the graveyard to be able to trigger its effect by banishing it, and then searching another copy of a Raidraptor monster from our deck to our hand. 1 copy of our Raidraptor Nest, which I believe is the only card that stays on the field ever. So that's the only card that we might have a problem with a Smorglink monster. But basically what this card does is if you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good. Now for the rank up magic spells, I am playing 2 copies of Astral Force. I did bump the Astral Forces back into the deck because I did play something else in the main deck that you guys are going to see in just a minute. So this card's really good, but you have to keep in mind that it has the ability that if you add it back from your graveyard to your hand instead of drawing, you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect. So that really kind of sucks. So you have to really just activate it and then leave it in the grave. Like, it just counts as a ranking up 2 ranks card. Like, I usually never add this card back to hand. Then I played 2 copies of Soul Shave Force. Soul Shave Force is really good because you pay half your life points and target a Raidraptor in your graveyard, special summon it, and then special summon from your extra deck 1 XYZ monster but 2 ranks higher. Now the really neat thing about this is you can actually summon 4 Strix back from the graveyard and then immediately overlay Cyber Dragon Infinity on top of it, which is really, really cool. I really love the ability of summoning the Cyber Dragon Infinity on top of this to give us an additional negate. Summoning Apex Avion and a Cyber Dragon Infinity on the field is nothing to laugh at. Like, that's really crazy and really a good board. Then we play 3 copies of the Rank Up Magic Skip Force. Skip Force is really good. Basically, this card lets us rank up twice on top of a monster, where you can rank up, like, for instance, if you have, like, Y-Strix on your side of the field. Like, if you have 4 Strix on your side of the field, you can immediately go into Revolution Falcon by ranking it up by 2 ranks, which is really cool to be able to do. And it also has the ability that lets you target a, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and then target a Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, and then target one of your Raidraptor XYZ monsters, and then special summon it back to your side of the field. So the other spell card the reason I'm playing so many rank up spells is because I'm playing 3 copies of Cattle Call, which is a card that used to be played a lot in Raidraptors and then kind of fell out, but I brought it back because I really think it's a good card. You send a monster you control to the graveyard whose original type is Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast. We're only focused on the Wing Beast. And then special summon 1 monster from your extra deck with the same original type, but it can't attack and its effects are negated. That doesn't matter. It's essentially like playing 6 copies of Lastrix, which is really cool because it has pretty much the same effect as Lastrix. You send it to the graveyard, you special summon out your Satellite Cannon Falcon. If you have a rank up in your hand, you just instantly summon Ultimate Falcon. That's why we play so many rank up magics. We play 5 different rank up magics to, work with our copies of Cattle Call. Now, if you don't want to play the Cattle Calls, you can drop these out and play Super Poly if you want to go that route. But I feel like the Cattle Calls are the way to go in this deck. I really love that card. And then we play 3 copies of our Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness just sets us up so much, and you just play it as a 3-of because you want to draw into the cards that you need, and everything is a dark card in the deck anyways besides Ash Blossom and Mist Valley Apex Avian. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. We do actually play a single trap in this deck, which is a single copy of Raidraptor Readiness. So Raidraptor Readiness is a really good card because it makes it so Raidraptor monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle. And if you have a Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your grave and you take no battle damage. So the only way that your opponent is ever going to get past your Ultimate Falcon is either to Super Poly it away or to beat over it with a 4,000 or Utopia double, which has happened to me. But if you have Raidraptor Readiness set, which is searchable, and your opponent goes into something like that, you just flipped your readiness, and your opponent's like, oh, crap. And then they can't get past this card, and you take no battle damage, because usually you're going to have a Raidraptor in graveyard by that point. You banish it, and then you take no battle damage that turn either, and then you go after them the following turn and make all their monsters go down by 1,000 life or 1,000 attack. So this is a really good card to play as a 1-of in the deck. Then for the extra deck, that's it for the main deck. We're going to get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Wise Strix. Wise Strix is nuts. This card is so freaking good. You get to target 2, or you put 2 Dark Winged Beast monsters into this card to special summon it. And if it's Link Summon, you could special summon a level 4 Winged Beast monster from your deck in defense position, but its effects are negated. Not a big deal. We just want the body on the field, which is fine. And also, it can't be used as link material. Not a big deal. We're just going to summon, XYZ monster with it. And then if your Raidraptor XYZ monster activates its effect, you get to set a rank up magic spell directly from your deck. And if it's a rank up magic quick play spell, you can activate it this turn. That's not that big of a deal. Basically, what you're going to use this card for is there's a combo in the deck where you actually summon this card first. You always go Wise Strix first, special summon another monster, and then if you have like Fuzzy Lanius in hand, you just immediately summon your Wise Strix under it, or 4 Strix under it, under Wise Strix, detach a material, and then add a monster from your deck hand like Singing Lanius, and then special summon Singing Lanius, and then this card's going to be on the field to be able to, do your different plays, which is really, really good to be able to set that rank up magic spell. So we didn't really have a way to search the rank up magic spell until now, and now we do. Then we're going to be playing just the single copy of the Smorg Bird of Sovereignty. This card's really good because it lets us special summon out a monster to our side of the field, that or Winged Beast monster equal to the number of unoccupied spell and trap card zones or less. So like if your opponent has 5 unused and we have 5 unused, you can special summon a level 8, which is, or level 10, but we're just going to special summon the level 8, which is our Mist Valley Apex Avian, which is going to be always our target special summon unless our opponent's playing a back row deck, and then we'll summon something like a copy of Fuzzy Lanius or something like that to our side of the field. But any Winged Beast monster this card points to cannot be targeted with card effects, which is really cool. And if this card would be destroyed by battle, you destroy one other Smorg card, but we only don't play any Smorg cards. Boral Sword to help us OTK. 1 copy of Final Fortress Falcon. I rarely make this, but it helps us OTK because it can attack multiple times. Ultimate Falcon is the main one that we're going to be making all the time in this deck. Ultimate Falcon's unaffected by all other card effects, which is really cool. And then once per turn during the end phase, you can make all monsters your opponent control lose 1,000 attack. And if your opponent controls no face-up monsters, they lose 1,000 life points instead, which is pretty cool. And you can also have the ability that for you can detach a material from this card, and then all monsters your opponent can currently control lose 1,000 attack, and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this. We play 2 copies of Satellite Cannon Falcon, which is basically back row destruction. When it's link summoned, you get to detach a material from this card, I believe. Or when this card's link summoned, you can destroy all spell and trap cards, or XYZ summon. You destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls, and your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to this. And then during either player's turn, you can detach material from this, and then target a monster your opponent controls, and loses 800 attack for each Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, which can be quite big. Revolution Falcon just destroys all, or can attack over all of your opponent's special summon monsters and reduce their attack to 0. 4 Strix searches in the deck because we just played as a 2-of in here because of Wise Strix being a card now. This card basically detach a material and add a level 4 Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. 1 copy of Blade Burner Falcon. Blade Burner Falcon just beats over everything because it goes up to 4,000 attack if your life points are 3,000 or more different from your opponent's. 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity because of the combo I told you about earlier, and then Ice Beast Xerophine because you can detach a material from this and then Cold Wave the entire field, where no card or effects can be activated, and it negates the effects of all face-up monsters on the field and cards in the field, and then it gains 300 attack for each one negated. This card can get really big and really helps out with being able to negate all sorts of stuff. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I am super excited to play Raidraptors now. I'm really excited to play Blackwings, which we're going to have to update soon as well. But this deck is super fun to play around with, and I highly recommend that you guys give it a shot. Like I said, the only expensive card in the entire deck is really Tribute Lanius in the main deck. And the extra deck is like Boral Sword is the most expensive thing, I think. And you don't even have to, like, I rarely summon Boral Sword. You could change it out for Borreload if you want to. So I would relatively judge this deck as a relatively budget deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. And definitely check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi if you guys would like to donate to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.